So he came, and I just had, it was one of the hardest days of my life, hearing that my dad was going to sell the company, even though I had all these plans of coming back. And so
the parents make him work a little bit more, just to like make an example that, hey, just because we're the owners doesn't mean it's going to be yours automatically. You know, like you still have to show up and work for it.
I think you have to make the mistakes to be able to learn from it and to be able to evolve. But I think that's the biggest thing as like business owners. It's kind of being like a step ahead of the game, like, because you got to evolve to what the market's doing.
Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Totem Podcast. What's up, Eric?
What's going on, guys? As always, remember that we are on YouTube and Spotify and all the other podcast platforms, but mainly we focus on YouTube. So if you guys like the conversations we're having, especially like the guests we're having on today, just make sure to give the video a thumbs up and click subscribe, so that way you can be notified every single time we upload a new video. But yeah, here on the podcast we have our famous motto that an act of rebellion is to question.
Cool. So huge shout out to Gamos Design. If you guys don't know, they do a lot of marketing and apparel and stuff. They do all our gear, all our hats. So if you guys want to reach out to them, you guys got a 10% discount right there with Totem. So make sure to take advantage of that. But today's guest, you guys probably know who he is just with the last name in itself. Jason Wickham, welcome to the show.
What's up, guys? I'm excited. This will be fun.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on here and actually taking time out of your busy schedule, because I know you got a lot of stuff going on, especially since you're all the way from Longmont, right?
Yes, yeah. I moved to Longmont from Fort Morgan. I was born and raised here in Fort Morgan, and I moved up there about 2 years ago. So it's that's been a new adventure as you get used to this the small town life, and then you go up there and you can Uber anytime you want to, or you can get food delivered to your house anytime you want to. It's a big change.
It's a little bit different than here in Fort Morgan, for
Yes,
sure.
it is. Yeah, it is. And there's more restaurants than you know what to do with. Not that the ones in here in Fort Morgan are not good. They are. And it was the small town life was something that I loved, raising my kids here. And then they got out of school, and we decided we would move. So much of our business has moved up on the Front Range, so we're living up there.
That's great. If we want to back up a little bit, talk to me a little bit about like Jason as a young kid, you know, growing up, because for you guys that don't know, Wickham Tractor's been around for 4 generations, so you guys are the 4th, correct?
Yes.
So it's like you guys pretty much
been here a long time.
You've been through it all. So talk to me a little about how your childhood was, seeing all that stuff.
Well, so I always wanted to be a part of Wickham Tractor ever since I was 4 or 5 years old. I was out there picking up trash or cleaning bathrooms. That's all I wanted to do growing up, is do that. So went to school here in Fort Morgan. It was a great time, and I had a kind of just a normal childhood. There was nothing real big time. Played football in high school, and just loved growing up here in Fort Morgan. Went to college first at NJC for the first 2 years, and then transferred to CSU. Graduated there with a ag finance degree. So that was my childhood, and I don't really have any really cool. Well, I got tons of stories, but I don't know how politically correct they would be on this show.
No, that's fine. we have no rules on the show. We go everywhere.
Okay.
So
all right.
So no worries on that. But tell me a little bit. You said you always wanted to be part of the business, the company and stuff of Wickham. And you said you'd be out there picking up trash and all that stuff. How was that? Like, did like your parents, your grandparents, and all that stuff? Were they like, hey, just because you're our son doesn't mean you're not going to work? Or
well,
how was that?
They, I think, made more of an example out of proving that I wasn't going to get any special treatment. I got paid I mean, shoot, at 4 or 5, I was getting paid like 30 cents, 50 cents an hour. So that was when I was really, really young. And then they paid me the normal amount. I did everything from cleaning bathrooms to all the way through the gamut. I mean, I worked on hay balers for a summer. I worked in the parts department for a couple of years. Then when I went to college, then I ended up coming back and started our Sterling store. So around 1997, I think, I moved to Sterling and got that going. And then I burned out, totally burned out on Wickham Tractor, and ended up going to work for my father-in-law, who had a gutter company, and he wanted me to run that. But he does a really cool thing, and his career was building post offices, and then he would keep them and then lease them back to the municipalities for 30-year leases. So he also had some other businesses when I went and ran the gutter company. But then I burned out on that and came back and started selling tractors, and so it was good. I love selling tractors. That sounds like a commercial, huh?
There you go.
Exactly.
I don't care about making money. I just love selling tractors.
That's interesting though, because a lot of people like look at like a business and think that, oh, just because like they have kids and stuff, they're gonna have it a little bit easier. But it sounds like, because we speak from experience too, it's usually like the children that actually work harder in the business just to kind of earn that like respect, or the parents make them work a little bit more just to like make an example that, hey, just because we're the owners doesn't mean it's going to be yours automatically. You know, like you still have to show up and work for it. Yeah,
and I absolutely did. I didn't get any special treatment. Maybe I did, and I don't really know about it. But it felt like my dad was harder on me than he was any of the other employees.
And what kind of like made you kind of want to be working in the company? Like was it just like seeing everybody, like your grandpa, your parents working in it, and just growing up around it, that made you kind of just want to do it?
Yeah, I think so. I loved being the camaraderie. I love the culture. I love agriculture. That's the big thing. And this allowed me the chance to be a part of it and be in it, and the partnership that you always have with your customers. I got to see that at a young age, and it was really, really cool. And I fell in love with it when I was young, and it was crazy. One cool story is my dad came in when I was at CSU. He came and he had decided he was going to sell the dealership, and there was only one at that time, the Fort Morgan store. And he was kind of burning out and wasn't enjoying it, and so he came, and I just had it was one of the hardest days of my life, hearing that my dad was going to sell the company, even though I had all these plans of coming back, and so he ended up not doing it because both my brother and I were interested in coming back, and we wanted to, and so. He ended up keeping the business, and here we are with 5 stores all around, all in Colorado.
Did it take some convincing to kind of like convince him not to sell?
Yeah. Because he at that point, he was burned out, and he didn't know that I was, and Brad was so passionate about coming back, and so he heard that he heard loud and clear that that's what we wanted to do, and he stuck it out till we could get graduated from college and get back.
How long was that he had?
About a year.
About a year?
Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't like too terribly long.
No.
You guys had to put him through or anything?
Yeah. And I think he's thankful that he did it. He's super proud of us and what we've done with the company. We're pretty aggressive, and we've really grown fairly quick. So it's been a cool thing to have it almost slip through our fingers to where we are today. It's huge.
How did that, like you were talking about, your dad had some burnout, and then you said you had some burnout back when you were at the Sterling place. Like, what did he do to kind of just taking a break from it, like, to kind of compensate for that burnout, or to come back, or how?
Well, my big burnout was getting the Sterling store up. I was working the whole day in the Fort Morgan store. Then I would drive home, and then we would work. My wife and I would work till 11, 12, 1 in the morning, just getting that going. Whether it was putting parts shelves together or all the books and everything in the shop, getting the shop ready and the airlines, and just it was months and months of working 70 to 80 hours a week, getting it up and going. So, and to get over that, you just got to kind of power through it. But for me, I went to Castle Rock and worked for my father-in-law and realized how much I want to be a part of this. So I just enjoy the business. I enjoy our customers. I enjoy the relationships that we have. It's really, really cool.
Yeah. How do you transition that now over to, you have 2 kids, right? So how do you transition that over to them? Are they getting the special treatment, or are you making them work for it also? Or how's that? Or is it a little different from, like, I'm guessing from like how your grandpa was with your dad with you? Is it a little different, or are you still kind of?
Oh, for sure. I think maybe I have, I've given them opportunities to move up through the company, and they've moved on it. They've been aggressive, and and both Hallie and Lincoln are both in the company right now, and it has been the thing that has energized me here the past couple of years. It's turned into my why of just loving teaching them, working with them, because I probably was not exactly the parent I should have been. I was very focused on work and friends through their younger years. And now to be able to work with them and spend one-on-one time with them and work has been one of the coolest adventures of my life.
Do you think that's, like, I'm asking you because I have family too, so do you think it's crucial for, because you've heard a lot of sides of it, that people, like you're saying, they get burnt out because they're away from their family all the time, or for them to kind of have the family kind of, like you're saying, you bring your kids with you, so you're kind of spending time there. You're working, but you're at least there, you know.
Yeah.
So that way, it's like you make, how do I say, like you put your business, like you kind of intertwined it a little bit with your family, you know. Mm-hmm. So they're part of it. So they're part of the why. They're part of the whole thing. Do you think that's important, like, instead, or try to separate them, like, completely?
I would have, if you would ask me that before they were part of the business, I would say, yeah, keep it separate. My wife has always wanted to work in the business, and that's one rule that my dad made long ago, was no wives in the business. Not because he doesn't like our wives, mine and Brad's. It's just that it can bring in some drama. But our kids could not work in the business until they were 16. So, like, Lincoln worked at Empire Dairy, and Hallie did various babysitting and stuff like that. And once they were 16, then Lincoln came back. Hallie just came back the past few years. So, I think it is good to intertwine now. But if you would ask me that years ago, I would have said, keep it separate.
Do you think that concept of, like, work-life balance was important, like, back then? Because, I mean, like, now it's more just, like, intertwined. But, like, back then when they weren't in the business, they were, like, growing up. How important was that, like, work-life balance? Because you said, like, with the Sterling store, you were working 70 to 80 hours a week. I'm pretty sure there was hardly any time left for any balance of any sort.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never been the work-life balance guy. I've just, whatever the business needed, I was willing to give it no matter what it took. So I didn't really do the whole work-life balance. When it did balance, it was cool, and when it didn't, that's what you do as a business owner. You don't get the chance to work-life balance. You've got customers, you've got broke down tractors or balers or anything. You just got to give the business whatever it needs. And there will be times when you got lots of downtime, and there will be times when you don't have any. And so I've learned from some of my friends, from my parents, from my grandparents. Small business is you got to give it whatever it needs.
Do you think you enjoy it now a little bit more that your kids are in the business too, and you kind of do?
100%.
Yeah.
I love it. It has changed my why. It has re-energized me in the business and in my career. So I love it. It is one of the biggest blessings in my life, for sure, is having my kids be interested and want to be a part of Wickham Tractor. It's cool. I can't tell you how cool it is. I never thought it would be cool, but man, it is.
And did they always have because when you were younger, you wanted to be in the company? Were they kind of like the same way with you? Like they couldn't just wait to be working in the company, or were they kind of like
Hallie was not. She's never wanted to be a part of the business. She's doing real estate, buying real estate, and is going to be the landlord. And so she needed a job to start, and now she's gotten to the point where I think she really likes it. So that's been kind of weird. But Lincoln, that's all he's wanted to do since he was tall enough to pee hard against the ground.
No, that's great. But then that's kind of going back to it. That's like the important thing that you're saying. Like him, Lincoln, he had a pretty much. I'm guessing he probably knows all the ins and outs of it also, because he said he had to go work at a dairy first, like you're saying, and like you had to clean the bathrooms, everything. I think that's essential for like business owners. A lot of them, like now, it's just like more of a lot of them, it's a fad, they just want to look cool, because they have a business, but they don't want to do the hard stuff, the hard work.
And both of my kids they're in the thick of it, and they work their butts off, and I'm super proud of them. I'm super proud.
And so when you took over the business, your dad didn't just give it to you guys, right?
No,
you guys bought him out.
Yes, we bought him out, and we bought the shares for exactly what they appraised for. Actually, we just paid him off this last month, so we haven't paid him off for the real estate, but we got the business 100% paid off. We made our last payment, so that was an exciting.
That's awesome.
That's great. Congrats on that. But tell me a little bit. How was that conversation like? Was it like that he was just like kind of ready to like retire, or do you guys just want to like?
Did he want to give it?
Did
he want to give it to you guys, or did you guys want to like push to like just buy him out to?
In 2007, he wanted us to have skin in the game, so he let us start buying stock for what it was appraised for book value, and he let us, where the company gave us a raise to, as long as we gave 100% of that to him, he gave us a raise, and then we paid taxes on it and everything, all legal. But that's where we started, was in 2007. So it took a lot of years, but we got to 10%, and then we got higher and higher, and he financed us, which we never could have done. He retired, I think, in 2012, somewhere in that vicinity, and we bought him out then, and he did not want to sell. He was ready to keep working, but we made him an offer, and we were able to make it work so that he could retire. And he's got real estate that so he was plenty good to just start chilling out. So he loves it.
Hanging out. So is that like WTC? You're saying you're buying shares? Is it public? Is it a public company, or is it private shares?
It is. It's private shares. We're a C corp.
Okay.
So yeah, we're a corporation. And
I was about to start going. Go buy the shares, guys.
And how important was it for you guys to have skin in the game? Did he want you guys to have skin in the game so you can actually like feel it and be able to like work harder at it because you're working towards something?
I think he wanted us to to be somewhat of an owner, but small enough that he always was willing to sell us as much share as we wanted to buy, as long as he stayed at 51%. So he wanted control as long as he was in the business, and then we just we bought the rest of it in 2012. But yeah, he wasn't ready to sell. He wasn't ready to retire, but we just we were able to convince him that he was fine, and so yeah. I think he wanted us to have skin in the game. Something changes when you have when you have some ownership of something. You dedicate yourself to it differently than when you're just working at a job. Even if it's a Wickham Tractor and my last name is Wickham, I started treating it different when I had stock. Yeah. Even though I wasn't getting paid I wasn't getting any dividends or getting anything special. It was just it changes you.
And who's the I don't know if you could answer that, but who was able to have shares? Is it just family that they would let, or employees, or?
We did do a profit sharing with employees back in the 80s, I think. Okay. But we ended up buying that back because it turned into a donkey show. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. Too many cooks in the kitchen, so to speak.
Yeah.
and you guys sold tractors, farm equipment, and stuff like that, and then you guys also sold feed, but you guys don't do that anymore.
Right. We got out of that in. Oh man, I think I sold the feed division last year. Maybe, yeah.
It was a year or two.
Yeah, a year or two ago. And that was a hard one. The market had changed so much, so many new people to the market, and it just became whoever is going to sell stuff the cheapest, and service got to be nothing. We were so focused on service, and when JD High School and some of these others, there were several people that came into the market, and it just became who can sell it the cheapest, and nobody cares about any kind of service or all of the things that we built the business on were not important to our customers. It was just how far are you going to drop your pants?
Yeah. So was that a slow decline, or you guys start seeing it going down where you're just we'll just sell this portion of the company because it's too much?
It started to, for a couple of years, started to go down, and we didn't react, and we just let it kind of go down the line, and it was we made some mistakes that cost us with some employees that it didn't work out, and we didn't react, and we didn't change the business to the way it needed to be changed when we should have changed. When we should have adapted to a changing market, we tried to keep it the same, and it just didn't work. It's kind of like some of these companies that are trying to compete with Amazon, and they want to keep doing their business the same way they've always done it, and it just doesn't work like that.
You're going to have to evolve, or you're going to get swept.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, talking about evolving, you guys had the Fort Morgan store and then the Sterling store for a while now, and then recently you guys bought 3 other dealerships.
Yep, we bought Longmont, Fort Collins, and Greeley in 2017, at the end of 2017. So. And
how was that? Just the decision making or process that just, hey, let's go. Pretty much double the size of it.
The owner of those 3 stores, Buddy Truesdale, he was ready to retire, and he had a house that he had bought in Arizona, and it was just time. We have Case and Kubota. He had Case and Kubota, and it just made sense to do. And so we made a deal with him, and he treated us really right. He didn't, but we same as with my dad. We bought it at book value, and paid for a bunch of blue sky, but all that is paid off too. So it worked out really good.
So was that like a little scary for you guys going into it, just because it's like
Scary as shit.
Three dealerships is not cheap.
Well, it doubled
you guys
our
were
size.
and you guys were barely owners for a few years too, right?
Yeah.
But when you guys,
Yeah.
so it's like you just bought this, and now you're gonna go buy
Yeah.
some more. So,
Yeah,
uh-oh.
double down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we have great people that worked their tails off to make it work, and we also were blessed with a really good market. So doing power sports and doing small tractors, and we got some great brands that we represent. So it worked out really well. It was super, super cool. The timing was right. We're wanting to keep going now and buy more stores now. So stay tuned.
Is that kind of what led you to move to Longmont, to kind of keep
100%.
keep track of those stores up there?
Well, and that's where we wanna go for
Expanding.
in the future. Yeah,
Okay. That's
up
great.
in that direction.
Do you think you guys will ever kind of spread, maybe just like Colorado, or trying to go like nationwide? Or is that a whole different?
That'll
ballgame
be
right
Hallie
there?
and Lincoln's problem.
Okay.
So if they're watching,
Yeah,
get ready. And you, how is it handling that many employees? Because I imagine it's not an easy thing, because even just handling just 5 employees is probably a handful by itself.
It's over. How much do you guys have? Over 100?
No, we have about 90.
Okay.
So, I mean, we've popped over 100, and we've gotten as low as 80. So, we're somewhere in the. I mean, I'd have to call my HR gal, but we're somewhere in the 90 range, and it's a challenge. Employees, managing through COVID was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. We didn't know if the world was coming to an end. We didn't know if people were going to start dying when they left to go home, and because they were sick. You guys knew what we were going through in COVID, and man, was it crazy. It
was crazy. Nobody knew what was going to happen with the market, with businesses,
Yep.
with anything.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't know if we were going to be closing, and here we are, still going. But it was bonkers. But COVID did some great things for us. People were at home. They weren't buying $10,000 to $15,000 vacations. They were working on all of the do-it-yourself projects at home. So they were buying little tractors or skid steers. They weren't going on those vacations. If they were doing vacations, they were going up to the mountains. They weren't getting on airplanes and stuff. So they were buying our power sports. And so all in all, it was. I mean, our business went up through COVID, not down.
Blessing in disguise.
Yeah, it was. It was crazy, and we thought we were going to be. We didn't know if we were going to sell another tractor for the rest of our lives, and our business actually improved.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy, because some people, they just get we have a lot of that we talk about it, like the victim mentality, you know? A lot of people just want to, like, oh, this happened to me, but then it's like that, like with COVID, like that was probably one of your best times where you skyrocketed and leveled up, you know? So
it was fantastic. And our people, they didn't take advantage of having to go home for 7 days, and when they had COVID, they all did. They had to, because it was the law. But our employees, our people, could have taken so much more advantage of it, and they didn't. It was all hands on deck, and they just plugged through it all. And we had supply chain shortages like everybody did, but we just fought through it, and it was the best of times for Wickham Tractor.
Do you think a lot of the, like, people not taking advantage, like, say, through the COVID time, was a lot because they you had, like, expectations since before, you know? So, you know, the people kind of knew what to expect with you guys, like...
I think so. We have a culture that, we're in the ag business, which is kind of a get-her-done business. We're in the we have people that have, some that have been there for 40 years, and it just it was let's make it happen, and we're a family, and so in a family business like that, you just and so many of our employees, they feel invested in the company because they've been there long enough. So it was really good. It was good times, and I'm glad that it worked out this way. But getting back to the whole Amazon thing, I foresee a day when Kubota or Case, they spec the tractors out on an Amazon site or on their website, and you order them straight from the manufacturer, and the dealer will just be a parts and service and a delivery point for keeping customers going. And trades will all go straight to auction, and it'll go the way that it goes. But we just have to adapt and can't not do what we did with the feed company and try to make the business or the market come to our way of thinking. We have to go and so that's why the feed business selling that to Northern Feed and Bean we learned a lot of very valuable lessons, and it will make us better in the tractor business.
Yeah, I think that's a lot to do with the business. Like we've made, we haven't been that long in business, but we've made a lot of mistakes. But I think you have to make the mistakes to be able to learn from it and to be able to evolve. But I think that's the biggest thing as like business owners. It's kind of being like a step ahead of the game, like, because you got to evolve to what the market's doing, not you wait. No, this is what I'm doing, and I'm not changing anything. Like, the market,
that's what you should do.
The market's gonna let you know real fast. It's gonna let you know quick.
Well, what has been like the hardest thing you've had to like learn to do, just like over the last few years, especially with like buying a new portion of the business, doubling your size, like.
The hardest thing that I've had to do is be partners with my brother.
There you go, Brad.
And and I'm not talking crap. It is a daily thing that we work on. My dad comes in every Monday and we meet. He's kind of the tiebreaker. But I'm not saying anything negative about Brad. I think anytime you have 50-50 partners, it is a challenge. And if you're not 100% aligned, the employees know it, the manufacturers know it, the customers know it. And we're not aligned. He feels certain ways about certain parts of the business, and I feel other ways. We respect each other, but it is the hardest thing that we have to go through, and we have to fight it every day to over communicate and try to see each other's perspectives. And we just don't, because we're going 1,000 miles an hour, and we just we keep plugging away, and when our communication breaks down, that's when we end up, the employees end up unhappy, and the customers end up unhappy, and so that's the hardest part. How do you guys do it?
I was going to add a little bit to what you're saying. I think personally, not everybody will agree with it, but I think it's essential, because I heard of something a long time ago. It says, if two people are in the same room and they think alike, like one of them's extra. So it's like, and Eric knows, I always tell him, like, I'm thinking we should do maybe this, like poke holes in it. Like, what do you think? Most of the stuff, and I tell him, like, what do you think? Like, I want to know what he thinks. Like, I probably think completely opposite, but I want to see where he's at with it. And it's like, I don't know. I just like, I kind of like a little controversy a little bit. I want him to be like, no, I don't think we should do that. Or we come down to like a solution, but it's like sometimes we're complete opposites, know. But it's like you said, it's
you got to work on it.
Yeah, well, I think a big part of it is just that communication factor of it. Because now we've started to do that a lot better. We've like set up like weekly meetings that we're actually gonna sit down and actually not talk about anything else we got going on, but like what's going on in the business, and just focus on that and set time aside for like the important parts that we have to like actually figure out and actually just like go at it.
Right. And it's, I mean, what we did was we split the business, where Brad does parts and service and I do sales and marketing. And that makes it tough because I don't need to explain anything to him on my stuff, and he doesn't need to explain anything to me. But too often there's finger pointing if the service department drops the ball with a customer, or if one of our salesmen doesn't return a call, and then we're kind of pointing fingers at each other. And it's just something we got to fight through. And whether you like it or not, you're partners, and you gotta just you gotta find your way through it. And I'm sure you guys have to do that too.
Yeah, and it's kind of, so we kind of have it like set up kind of how you do it. Like I'm more like the numbers marketing guy, that just talking to and all that. And Eric's more like in charge of the editing, the video stuff. Like I know how to set the stuff up and stuff too, but like he's the one that knows how to do that, And I kind of I can't be like, Eric, what the fuck you doing? This is not how it goes if I don't know that much about it. So I just kind of let him do his thing on it, But like you said, it's technically he doesn't have to tell me what he's doing,
Yeah.
So that I kind of feel like what you're saying too. Like,
Yeah.
Is there any like balance? Like, okay, when you're at work, you guys talk about work, but when you're home, do you still talk about work? Because like being owners, I think it's a little different than just two people just working in the same company together.
We've never, Brad and I have never been best friends. When we were little, but we kind of grew apart through the high school years, and I guess it was after that. But we haven't been close, so we don't have the trying to not talk about things. We don't get together. We're not super close like that, so we don't have to fight that part, the outside of work stuff. We bring our wives in every year approximately to give them an update on where the business is, because our floor plans, meaning all of the equipment that comes in, is on a floor plan note with the manufacturer, and so we have to put our houses up as collateral, and so that's caused some strife with our spouses. So they want to know, they want updated on where we're at, where's the business at, where's our debt load, where's our cash situation, and where are we moving in the market. So,
which is good, or what do you think? Like understandable, like good that they kind of at least want to know what's a little bit going on, Yeah. Because then they're gonna be like, "What'd you do, Jason?" Like it's all gone. Like, well, you kind of knew about it a couple months ago. It's not a surprise. So
right, it's been our wives, both Marcy and Carrie, Brad's wife and my wife, are super supportive, and they've been really, really cool to do or to be partners with, because they're just as much partner, just as much owner as we are.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's great. I wanted to ask you a little bit about the stuff that's been going on. I don't know how much you've been following it, but it's like that the farmers, the dairy owners, the ranchers and stuff, that they got to pay overtime and stuff now, and there's like a big thing going on with that. Do you have any thoughts on that stuff?
Yeah, there's you don't have to pay overtime. In the ag business, because it's so seasonal. But I think that is kind of ending, isn't it? That's what I've heard. But we've always paid overtime, because even though we didn't have to, we weren't going to get any employees. We weren't going to be competitive in the marketplace, trying to get truck drivers or trying to get technicians if we didn't do it. So we've always just done it.
Yeah. Does that affect? I'm just wondering. Does that affect, like, because you guys sell tractors and stuff? Does that affect any of that? Because a lot of the ranchers, so it's like now it's the ranchers, they got to pay like overtime for a lot of their workers. So it's like they got to pay them more. So I'm just wondering, does it affect their buying power now that they have to go buy a new tractor or skidsters, or you haven't noticed it really?
I haven't noticed it.
Okay.
I haven't been super aware. It's not nearly as much of a factor as the interest rates. And where interest rates, when you're borrowing $450,000 for a tractor, the interest rate makes a huge difference. The price increases of the inflation that's going on has affected our business. I don't think that that it has necessarily impacted people's ability to buy the tractors. At least I don't know.
How have you guys dealt with the interest rates? Because I mean, they're been slowly going up. The past probably over a year now. And people are people actually buying less, or are people still who actually need to get the equipment, they still buy the equipment?
People are finding a way to get the equipment. There is some. We shop interest rates every day. We have 25 different options as far as different finance rates, or financing from whether it's with Wells Fargo or Ag Direct or Farm Credit, all of the different avenues that we have, and it's just people are just buying. A lot of tax buying because the commodities have been pretty strong, and so there has been some farm income that people they buy equipment so that they can bring their tax load down. So.
Okay. So what do you, I mean, now change subjects a little bit. What do you like to do for fun? Hobbies?
Well, I just got back from Mardi Gras. That shit's crazy. I don't know if you've ever been.
I've
never been, but I've heard of it.
I've seen videos.
My Atlantis. It was. I had never been, but that was just crazy. That was a fun time. But no.
Who'd you go down there with?
Just my wife.
Okay, just you guys.
We actually. I know it sounds crazy, but we had a meeting on Thursday and Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we went down early and we're there on Fat Tuesday, and then Wednesday is when the meeting started. So, but yeah, we were there we were down there for a whole week. It was a long week. That's like going to Vegas for a week. You just don't do it.
You just never
know your limits. Yeah. For fun, I go snowmobiling. So we have a cabin up in the Snowy Range up in Wyoming, and then we razor in the summer, go to the lake. I love spending time with my kids, and that's, I kind of touched on it earlier, where when my kids were young, I didn't spend the time that I should have with them, and so now I woke up one day and they were graduating from high school, and so now they like going snowmobiling, they like going razoring, and so that's what I like.
And are they married, your kids?
My Hallie is married. She got married about a year ago, almost exactly a year ago. Okay. And Lincoln is not. He has a pretty serious girlfriend, but.
Okay.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Okay. I'm just wondering because you say you guys go all these places, so they go with you guys too and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, they love it.
That's great.
We're doing the Baja, taking on a razor. So in a month from now, I'm going to. It's the pre-race. We don't actually race in the actual race, but.
Okay.
Go and.
What's the Baja?
It's a race that is in the Baja of California, the Baja of Mexico.
It's
and
crazy.
It's and they have those big trophy trucks, like the Monster and the Red Bull trucks.
Oh, okay.
That are all tricked out, $300, $400, $1 million. I don't even know, but we run just side by sides, and we did it a couple years ago. And we went from San Diego and drove side by side all the way down to Cabo, and it was 8 days of going 300, 400 miles a day.
Wow. And
staying in cool hotels, but that's some backwoods stuff there. Those guys, the Baja of Mexico is it's that strip that goes down, and it's really, really cool. I enjoyed it a lot.
So tell us a little bit about that. So you drive all day and then you get a hotel stay somewhere. You pick up a hotel where you got your destination.
The dude that does run the Baja every year. So he's in 2 classes. He runs the side-by-side class, and he runs the and it's a race where you the Baja 1000. It's 1,000 miles, and they go straight all the way through. So that guy. He runs in the race, but they don't announce the actual track that they're doing until like a month or so before the race. So then these guys go and they pre-run the race so that they know all of the trails and know exactly where they're going. And he sells trips to go and run this with him. And you go and he lines up the hotels. He has chase trucks, which they do this. They have mechanics, and they haul the luggage and everything, and so they've got a medic, and they've got technicians, and they've got it's a really cool.
They got the whole setup.
Yeah,
they got.
Yeah.
So how many people usually go? Say like on this running that
12,
track first?
12 vehicles, 12 cars is what they call them. So
and they run it straight, or do they just like stop?
So when the race happens, the Baja 1000, yeah, they run it straight through. With us, we can't do 1,000 miles straight through and go for 26 hours. We go and we do it like 300 miles a day. And
do you guys do it like before the actual race, or is it like?
Yeah, it's before the race.
Okay.
And he's learning the all of the track and on GPS, so it's cool. Some days we only do like 100 miles, and some days we go more.
Just kind of at your own pace, just
yeah. It's fun,
and then you got beautiful weather out there too. So it's pretty.
A lot of it we're running on the beaches, so we actually are riding the beach line for a long ways.
So when's that? When do you guys go down
at the beginning of April. So
that's like now.
It's like now.
Yeah, a month from now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, for fun, yeah, just snowmobiling, razoring, all that stuff.
Do you do any hunting or stuff like that, or?
I don't. Not because I judge it, just because my dad didn't hunt, so I didn't learn it, so.
It's a lot of work to get into and stuff.
And if you're, it's tough to do it if your dad didn't do it, to teach you.
Yeah.
So, I do like the outdoors, hiking and everything. So, my goal this last year was to climb Long's Peak, and then I got a foot injury, so I'm training right now to be able to do that this summer, and that's a pretty big.
How long is that?
I don't know. I think it's like 14 miles somewhere up.
Oh, okay. So
but it's above 14,000 feet.
So you're up there gasping for air.
Yeah, you're way up there.
So, and what's next for WTC?
Next 3 years or so. What projects do you?
Well, we definitely want to expand. That is what I super enjoy is doing the systems and the processes and bringing more, because with the growth that we have done, I've learned so much on how to do it better the next time, and so being able to bring another store or 2 or 4 into the mix. I'm still young enough that I have energy to go, and and we got a good team that really enjoys going like that. So I think Wickham Tractor is going to grow, but we'll see. Want to do it smartly and not just go crazy. So it's about you can sell yourself out of business, and I don't want to do that. I want to be smart about it. So.
And are you guys already like kind of eyeing a couple places maybe to add on?
Yep.
How far like in advance would that start? But before you actually go through with purchasing it?
Usually it takes about a year of working with the other business owner, and then working with the manufacturers to line out everything, working with the bank to finance everything, and the real estate is always a big part. So yeah, it's that's been a growing situation. So we'll see. I don't want to put too much stock in it, because what we have now is great, and I don't take that for granted one single bit. And we still have a lot of growing to do within the business that we have. So we don't have it all figured out, and it would be good to get better and better at what we're doing in the markets we're at. And so it's continuous trying to get better, just like you guys. It's tough to learn everything and apply it, and all of the moving parts, getting them all to work together. This last year was a trying year, because we did have we had a lot of exodus of employees, some that had been with us for a long time, and it was really tough on me, and it was tough on my brother to replace key people, but you don't have a choice. You do what the business demands.
You keep adapting and keep evolving.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
What's next for you guys?
To keep growing.
Yeah.
Keep getting our name out there, keep getting known here in the community and surrounding community and all around, really.
Yeah, so first of all, it's like the office space we got now. So it's we've been here for a few weeks barely. So we just got in here. So
This is a cool office, by the way. I love this place.
No, it's great. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, we just built this new studio. You're the second one. You're the second
official.
Oh, really?
You're the second guest in here. Okay. We've had a lot of others, but not in here. So that's one of them. Who's in the office space, and then expanding. And the
next step is hiring some other people on to help us out and keep getting more work.
Okay.
Yeah, but
cool.
Yeah, but I appreciate you.
I'm excited for you guys to help. We're going to be doing all of these training videos and videos for our business that you guys are going to be doing for us, and I'm excited to get that rolling, because that's a time multiplier, and I'm always looking for time multipliers. But you do one recording of an onboarding, and then you don't have to be there for every single one. You can just have people watch it. So
yeah, because that's the important thing, I think, with business owners. That a lot of that people that we've talked to is like their time's their most precious thing. So it's like
So how do you optimize your time and make it more efficient?
And that's what you guys are selling, time multipliers. Mm-hmm. So that's cool. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So if people want to know a little bit more about you, or maybe check out some tractors, where could people find that?
Well, I'm a gypsy. I don't have an office. I set up shop in conference rooms throughout. So there's not. I'm usually at the Greeley store, and Brad's usually here in Fort Morgan, instead of both of us being here in Fort Morgan. So I've been really focused on that. But I live 4 minutes from our Longmont store, so as far as, just call me and let's go to lunch.
There you go.
Do you have any social media that people can find you on? Or
I'm worthless at that stuff. I have a Facebook account, but I probably look at it once a month.
That's probably good. There's a lot of bad stuff on there too, so sometimes it's good to stay out of it.
I tell you what I'm addicted to is this freaking TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
TikTok.
That is some fun shit to watch.
Some pretty cool stuff. I'm sure, like, since you're like into the Baja stuff, like,
yeah,
there's so much cool stuff on that.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
It's so fun, and it is the biggest waste of time on the planet.
But it's fun.
Yeah, I can.
There's one of your hobbies. There you go.
Time can disappear, literally disappear. I'm going to watch 3 videos, And an hour later, man, it's tough.
Yeah. So Jason, once again, we appreciate you coming on the podcast. Taking time out of your busy schedule to be.
Is it over already? This was fun. This was just getting
great.
good.
Well, we'll have to do a part 2.
We're gonna have to do part 2.
That's when I'll tell you all the crazy stories.
We'll do an after hours episode.
Yeah. All my good drinking stories.
There you go. Those are the fun ones.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you guys. And then guys, as you know, if you guys like Jason, if you guys want to hear more about him, comment down below. We might have him on for a part 2 or something like that.
Get the cool stories in there. So
But make sure you guys give the video a thumbs up if you guys like him. If you guys like us, like the conversation we're having here. But guys, remember that an act of rebellion is to question. Thank you guys for hanging out.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks.